Viewers, I want to begin tonight by focusing on a debate that has been raging across the country. It's a very relevant debate, viewers, don't get me wrong. But I want to begin by asking you a few questions. Do you recall the movie Kashmir Files? Do you recall that it was made by director Vivek Agnihotri, that it starred Anupam Kher and a host of other talented actors? Do you recall that it sought to capture a dark period of Indian history? I hope I've been able to, at some length, remind you that this movie was made and released and became an immediate talking point because it focused on an exodus driven by bigotry, the culling of Hindus in Kashmir by Islamist terrorists. It talked about the conspiracy of silence that denied the Hindus justice. In fact, 30 years have elapsed and not one accused is behind bars. That conspiracy of silence continues. And it traces its origins back to the efforts that an ecosystem made to even deny recognition to the refugees as victims of a dastardly crime. That ecosystem, viewers, also, and let me tell you this, also tried to delegitimize the reasons for this outrage. Viewers, the double standards of some who fought for justice for the victims of the Gujarat riots of 2002 but never for the victims of Hindu phobia in Kashmir were also commented upon in this movie Kashmir Files. A film like this ought to have been welcomed by all, but it wasn't. Many from the film fraternity itself lampooned it, discredited it, questioned the intent of the filmmakers and so on. After facing severe backlash for his film, Pathaan, now viewers, we have a situation where Shah Rukh Khan has called out the viral threats of his own movie. But before all of that, I want us to focus very closely, viewers, on where the debate is raging. Now, viewers, in Calcutta, over the last few days, we've had a situation where a number of filmmakers and top actors like SRK and the Big B and Mr. Bhatt have decided to comment on what they believe is a massive threat to freedom of speech and expression. Now, ordinarily, viewers, these comments would have been very well received. But unfortunately, they have sparked a massive controversy. Now, let me just tell you a little bit about what was first said about the Kashmir Files. Viewers, today you have 3 or 4 or 5 top actors talking about freedom of expression. But viewers, freedom of expression of the makers of Kashmir Files clearly didn't matter to them. Nadav Lapid, an Israeli filmmaker, called the Kashmir Files a vulgar propaganda movie unfit for the IFFI, which is a prestigious Indian film festival, and nobody spoke up. None of these spoke up for the freedom of expression of Vivek Agnihotri. Swara Bhaskar backed Nadav Lapid's vulgar propaganda jibe. There were several others. Anurag Kashyap. He, in fact, went on to say that hope Kashmir Files isn't picked for India's entry to the Oscars. He was ready to promote a cancel culture against this movie. Rahul Shivshankar, filmmaker, said that Hate sells, propaganda sells, truth never did, follow the crowd, follow with the majority. And he was hinting at this movie. John Abraham didn't defend Agnihotri's freedom of expression. In fact, evaded a question that was directly asked of him. No one spared a thought for freedom of expression or even creating license. No one talked about creative license, about rights and democracy. Yes, viewers. No one of any words stood up. Why? Maybe because it wasn't in their interest. Thankfully, the public didn't fall for it. Moviegoers endorsed the content of Kashmir Files by packing into movie halls in record numbers. Now, viewers, when the very same public is upset with a slew of other movies, and moviegoers are electing not to watch them or call for boycotts of these movies, thereby endangering the financials of big movie producers and also the economic security of big stars, a group of India's movie stars are speaking up about freedom of expression. Now listen to them, viewers. Listen to them very closely.
Social media is often driven by a certain narrowness of view that limits human nature to its baser self. I read somewhere that negativity increases social media consumption and thereby increases its commercial value as well. Such pursuits enclose the collective narrative, making it divisive and destructive.
The 1952 Cinematograph Act set out the structure of censorship as it stands today, upheld by the Film Certification Board. But even now, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm sure my colleagues on stage will agree, questions are being raised on civil liberties and freedom of expression.
I do not think it is the spirit of India to reject anything, reject any race, any culture. The spirit of India has always proclaimed the idea of unity. The ideal of unity never rejects anything, any race or any culture. It comprehends all.
So who are the big B and SRK and others referring to? Viewers, take a look at the long list of ban calls and threats issued on, for instance, SRK's films Pathaan. The paying public is upset that SRK has insulted the color Bhagwa, which is associated with the Hindu faith, in a dance sequence. That's the dance sequence, those are the pictures. Now, viewers, it's no one's view that we should have an extrajudicial super censor, that anyone's freedom of expression should be curtailed or curbed because of misplaced notions of what is acceptable, etc. But it's certainly vital to not exhibit bias in standing up for creative license or be selective as to when you must make the intervention. Nonetheless, viewers, many have been quick to back Bollywood's call for free speech, especially the calls that have been made by Amitabh Bachchan and Shah Rukh Khan and the others. Listen in.
Now they have stooped down to the level that the color has been patented by so-called saffron forces. Then saffron color should be banned altogether from the use and let it be patented by BJP and RSS. Height of nonsense, such things are being allowed. Nobody can save this country.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी से मेरा अनुरोध है कि एक विभाग अपने यहाँ नया सृजित करें, उसमें एक मंत्रालय बनाएं जिसका नाम रखें भावना आहत मंत्रालय। तब जाकर के मुझे लग रहा है कि हर जगह हर चीज पे भावना जो आहत होती रहती है। एक सामान्य सा गाना है, जिस तरह से अदाकारा यानी कि दीपिका पादुकोण जी दसियों बार उसमें कपड़े बदल रही हैं, इसमें सारे रंग के कपड़े उन्होंने पहने हैं, हरा रंग भी मेरा ख्याल है एक आध बार आता है, तो क्या करें? मतलब इस तरह से रंगों पे राजनीति, मुझे हैरत होती है कि इस देश में भारतीय जनता पार्टी के नेताओं को कोई काम नहीं है क्या?
Well, viewers, this is obviously a debate that is at the heart of what it means to be a democracy. Let's open this up